Good evening, and welcome to your 2023 Wright-Hennepin Annual Meeting. Tonight, we will share highlights from 2022 business. We are pleased to say that Wright-Hennepin continues to fulfill the mission of delivering power, products, and competitive pricing essential to the quality of life for the members and communities we serve. Your cooperative remained among the best for electric utilities in consumer satisfaction, maintained competitive pricing, and reported another outstanding lights-on record. Tonight, we are going to take a look at how Wright-Hennepin and WH Holding deliver reliability you can depend on. Wright-Hennepin's Chief Financial Officer, Brian Swanson, will share the 2022 financial report, highlighting a $3.5 million capital credit retirement to you, our members. Wright-Hennepin Board Chairman Eric Hines will deliver the 2023 Electric Board Chairs Report. WH Holding Board Chair Timothy Young and Chief Operating Officer Wendy Youngren will bring you up to date on the state of WH Holding and our diversified businesses. You'll also hear from WH President and CEO Tim Sullivan, who will share information on WH's reliability record and competitive pricing. The results of the director elections for Districts 2, 5, and 7 will be announced tonight at the conclusion of the business meeting. At the end of the meeting, we'll announce the winner of the iPad from the early bird voting, and we'll select the grand prize winner of a 2013 Ford Fusion retired from Wright-Hennepin's fleet. You must be in attendance to win the car. For your convenience, it is our goal to have the business meeting concluded in 1 hour. In support of the local dairy industry, each voting member will also receive 1 free pound of butter. This will be handed out while exiting the building after the business meeting. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the speaker's podium, where Board Chairman Eric Hines will call this 2023 annual meeting to order.
Good evening. Welcome. My name is Eric Hines, Chairman of the Board of Wright-Hennepin Cooperative Electric Association. At this time, I call the 86th Annual Membership Meeting to order. As there are more than 50 members in attendance, I declare a quorum. The Cooperative's legal counsel, Mark Sutton, is hereby appointed to serve as parliamentarian for tonight's meeting. For tonight's invocation, I'm pleased to call upon Vicar Jackson Schofield from St. James Lutheran Church, Howard Lake.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute blessing to be able to be a part of this gathering. It's a great event that you have put on. It's also just a great blessing to be able to be brought into this community in the first place. It could have been placed anywhere in the country. We don't know until we go. And my only request was not Green Bay. So it's been just a blessing to be a part of this area. It's a favorite place I've lived at this point. And it's a great opportunity to be able to pray with you all night. So without further ado, let us pray. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to be gathered here today, for the meal that you've provided for us, and for all the daily bread with which you have so abundantly blessed each and every one of us. We thank you for this opportunity for fellowship in this blessed community at Wright-Hennepin, and to enjoy the company of our fellow members of your creation. We thank you for another year of blessing the work of Wright-Hennepin and the community it serves, allowing it to be a pillar in the region and providing its service for so many who need it. We give thanks and praise to you for the protection you provide for all the linemen and all other employees, and we pray that you continue to keep them in your most tender hand throughout all their days, as we pray for all whose work is difficult or dangerous. We pray for safe travels as everyone returns home tonight, and for all your continued protection, guidance, and blessings for the year to come. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we let us pray as he has taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask you to stand for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I want to acknowledge a tremendous effort to prepare for this meeting. Please join me in a round of applause to thank the individuals and all the employees who helped make this happen. We also thank all the many special guests and local dignitaries who took time to be here for this evening. The agenda for tonight's meeting is on page 2 of your program. A motion would be in order to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. For the sake of time, a motion would be in order to dispense with the reading of the roll call of members. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. I now call upon Board Secretary Mike Teva to read the official notice of the 2023 annual membership meeting and the certificate of mailing. This notice describes tonight's objectives. Mike?
Notice of annual meeting of the Wright-Hennepin Cooperative Electric Association to all members. Please take notice that the annual meeting of the members of the above cooperative will be held at its headquarters in Rockford, Minnesota at 7 p.m. on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, to take action on the following matters: the reports of officers, directors, and committees, the election of 3 directors, 1 from District 2, 1 from District 5, and 1 from District 7. In connection with the election scheduled for this meeting, candidates have been nominated pursuant to the bylaws. Any other business that may come before the meeting or any other adjournments thereof. In the event the annual meeting is postponed or canceled, the election of directors shall continue. Once certified, director election results will be made available on the cooperative website and communicated to the membership via email from the cooperative. If the meeting is canceled due to inclement weather or for any other reason, the meeting will be rescheduled for Thursday, May 4th, 2023. The meeting notice was mailed to all members on March 30th, 2023. Mr. Chairman, this meets the legal requirements set forth in the association's bylaws.
Thank you, Mike. In your program on page 4 are the minutes from the 2022 annual membership meeting. A motion would be ordered to accept the minutes as printed. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. I would now like to turn the podium over to Wright-Hennepin's Chief Financial Officer, Brian Swanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, directors, Team Wright-Hennepin, and most importantly, you, the members of Wright-Hennepin. It is my pleasure and opportunity this evening to share another year of strong financial results as part of the consolidated financial report. I am pleased to report they issued an unmodified opinion or clean audit, which is the highest level of assurance provided. Your businesses in 2022 maintained an excellent balance sheet and operating results. In addition, these financials are complemented by very competitive rates and continued safe, reliable service. So let's review your Cooperative's financial performance by highlighting the main components of WH's balance sheet and statement of operations, which can be found on page 7 of your program. December 31st, 2022, total utility plant found on line 3 of the balance sheet is $240 million, which is an $18 million increase from year-end 2021. These are funds that are invested to keep your electric grid safe and reliable. Total other property investments on line 10 is nearly $61 million. This line includes WH's capital credits from other cooperatives and includes the WH holding businesses your cooperative owns. Cash on line 11 is over $13 million. The electric utility business is capital intensive, and as such, WH needs to maintain strong cash levels. This then positions us well for significant planned capital investment again in 2023 to continue providing safe, reliable power at competitive rates. Line 23, total members' equity, is over $102 million. This is your ownership in the business, and the majority of the equity is allocated to you, the member. WH continues to maintain an excellent equity to asset ratio of nearly 42%. Total long-term debt on line 27 is approximately $99 million. This is WH mortgage and the $240 million investment in poles, wires, meters, transformers, substations, etc. WH's debt portfolio is diversified amongst 3 lenders, which provides flexibility and also helps mitigate interest rate risk. Next, let's move on to the 2022 Statement of Operations located on the right side of page 7 in your program. Line 51, operating revenue is over $120 million. This revenue is a direct result of record energy sales in terms of consumption. Line 53, cost of power, which is WH's largest cost, is over $82 million. Total local operating expenses, line 57, is over $17 million. Our commitment to you is to keep these costs down, which are costs to operate the business such as personnel, right-of-way tree trimming, technology, maintenance, etc. The graph shows how WH compares to the industry. You can see how successful historically your employees have been at keeping operating costs among the very best. Total fixed charges on line 61 are nearly $13 million. This line includes property and real estate taxes, depreciation, and interest on long-term debt. The result of the electric business revenues and expenses is our net operating margin on line 63, which is nearly $8 million for 2022. Operating margins were more favorable due to electricity sales, the softening power supply market in the fourth quarter, and lower than budgeted operating and fixed cost. The Conservation Improvement Program, line 64, is approximately $565,000. This is mandated spending by the state for energy conservation programs. Non-operating margins, line 65, is a profit of nearly $742,000. This line includes primarily profits from the WH holding businesses and interest income. In addition to generating a profit, the WH holding businesses absorbed nearly $1.4 million of operating expenses from the electric business in 2022. This equates to approximately $29 per member in 2022 and is a direct benefit by reducing your electric rates. Generation and transmission and other capital credits, line 67, is $4 million. This is not cash, but the allocations from our power suppliers and associated organizations. Power supply margins are allocated to the membership, and when cash is received from the suppliers, such as Great River Energy and now Basin, is passed through. This pass-through is usually included as part of the capital credit general retirement in December. Line 68, net margins for 2022 is $12.2 million. As set forth in our bylaws, margins from electric operations are returned to the member in the form of capital credits. Nearly $39 million in capital credits have been returned to the members over the last decade. In fact, in 2022, WH returned $3.5 million as a special capital credit retirement in April and a $2.55 million general retirement in December to the membership, with the median amount being $47 each. Then this month, a special capital credit retirement of $4 million will be returned to the membership, with the median amount being $52. And in fact, some of you may already have received your payments. Therefore, in closing, your cooperative continues to provide safe, reliable power at competitive rates while also maintaining financial stability. Thank you for being a member, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present these strong financial results from 2022 this evening.
Thank you, Brian. Now that you have heard the audited financial report for 2022, a motion would be in order to accept the report as presented. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. I now call upon Legal Counsel Mark Sugden to explain the voting procedure. Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Wright-Hennepin is a member-owned cooperative, and as such, at each member meeting, various matters are submitted to the members for action. In connection with this annual meeting, the members are voting on the election of 3 director positions in Districts 2, 5, and 7. The candidates for the director positions have been identified to the members in a variety of means, including in the annual meeting notice and on the cooperative's website. With the notice of the annual member meeting, members were provided with mail ballots. Many members chose to submit their ballots using that method in advance of this meeting. Members were also given the opportunity to submit their vote electronically, and similarly, many members chose to participate in the voting process through that means. For members desiring to cast their votes in person at this meeting, ballot boxes were made available to deposit director ballots. If any member is still holding a director election ballot, please hold them until they are collected by the election judges shortly. In the event another matter is placed for vote by members this evening, which would be advisory in nature only, members were provided voting materials to assist with the voting process. If something is brought to the members for a vote tonight, the chair will first call for a voice vote. If the voice vote does not clearly establish a result, the chair will call for a show of hands using the yellow hand cards that were provided to the members this evening. If after that action the vote is still not ascertainable, the chair will proceed with a written vote process whereby the members will use the blue voting cards that were provided to the members this evening, which will be collected by election judges assisting with the process. That is a recap of the director election and voting processes to be used this evening. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. This year, the cooperative has 13 candidates seeking election to the board of directors. Please watch this short video. We'll introduce this year's candidates.
In District 2, there are 3 director candidates. Nicole Esposito, Otsego. Incumbent Dwayne Butch Lindenfelser, Monticello. Karen Skepper, Otsego. In District 5, there are 2 director candidates. Incumbent Chris Lanto, South Haven. Matthew Simmons, Cokato. In District 7, the incumbent director is not running for re-election. There are 8 director candidates. Larry Anderson, Plymouth. Audrey Britton, Plymouth. Terrence Diaferio, Plymouth. Bob Moberg, Plymouth. Christopher Nelson, Plymouth. Tong Pham, Plymouth. Dale Raymaker, Plymouth. Kyle Stotz, Plymouth.
At this time, we would like to thank Survey and Ballot Systems for running the election, and also Mark Sugden and Ide Bailey, who serve as tonight's election judges. At this time, I will ask Survey and Ballot Systems to come forward to collect any remaining ballots from the members in the audience here. If you have a ballot, please hold them up. Good evening. My board colleagues and I often ask why we serve Electric Co-op Board. Of course, each of us might answer the question a little different. We each have personal reasons, but we also have reasons in common. Among those common reasons are we all believe electricity is an essential service, and we all want to do our part to ensure our friends, neighbors, and local communities enjoy the benefit of safe, affordable, reliable power. But Wright-Hennepin isn't just an electric utility, it's an electric cooperative. And we all believe there is something special about the cooperative business model, which puts member owners, not shareholders or third parties, at the very center of the organization. As a cooperative, Wright-Hennepin shares a certain thing in common with other cooperatives. All these commonalities are summed up in the 7 cooperative principles. I won't walk through all 7 of these this evening, but allow me to share you 4 that are especially important because they help explain what is unique and noteworthy about being a part of a cooperative. Let's consider the cooperative principle of democratic member control. This principle ensures that you, our member owners, choose fellow members to represent your interests on the cooperative board. And at an electric cooperative like Wright-Hennepin, the directors are chosen open, democratic elections. And at a cooperative, it's 1 member, 1 vote, so all members have an equal say. The principle of democratic member control also aligns the interests of the co-op with the interests of the membership. This means the co-op can be more responsive to members' needs, and it creates legitimacy. Directors are chosen directly by you, not appointed by others. The second is the cooperative principle of autonomy and independence. Again, this means that most governance decisions remain firmly in the hands of the board you elect, not with outside third parties or special interests. This also helps explain why cooperatives seek to preserve as much local decision-making authority as possible. This independence helps ensure Wright-Hennepin remains a self-help organization that can respond quickly to local needs. The third of the cooperative principles of education, training, and information. The newsletters, emails, texts, and bill stuffers you receive from Wright-Hennepin aren't just business communications. In a cooperative, keep our members informed is our obligation. Under this principle, cooperatives have a special duty to inform members, elected representatives, opinion leaders, and the general public about the nature and benefits of the cooperation. And it explains why we are always looking for ways to enhance connection with you, our member owners. And the final principle I want to discuss tonight is concern for the community. As a local organization, Wright-Hennepin isn't owned by others who may not be unknown or far away. It's owned by you, which means we not only focus on your needs, but on the needs of the local communities in which we operate. This helps explain Wright-Hennepin's participation in so many local events, from parades to fairs to communities getting together. It's why we provide nightlights and USB ports to school children, provide scholarships to deserving high school students, and teach lessons about electric safety in local schools. It also explains our support for the Operation Roundup, which, thanks to your willingness to round your monthly electric bill, distributed nearly $230,000 to charities and deserving organizations in our area in 2022. You'll hear a little more about Operation Roundup later in the program, but it is a perfect illustration of why Wright-Hennepin concern for community isn't just a slogan, it's a part of who we are. So remember, while delivering power, products, and competitive pricing for the benefit of the members and the communities we serve is what we do. And the way we do this is through the cooperative business model. And is this cooperative identity that we both celebrate and build on tonight at this annual meeting. So thank you for your business, but most of all, thank you for your membership. Speaking of the board, we will have a short video presenting the Board of Directors of Wright-Hennepin.
Eric Hines is Wright-Hennepin's board chairman. He represents District 9 and is from Cooperative. Wright-Hennepin's vice board chairman is Timothy Young from District 1 and is from Annandale. Young also serves as WH Holding Company's board chairman. The Wright-Hennepin board secretary-treasurer is Mike Teva from District 6, Maple Grove. Teva also serves as WH Holding Company's vice chairman. Butch Lindenfelser is the director representing District 2, Monticello. Lindenfelser also serves as WH Holding Company's board secretary-treasurer. Pat Bakeberg is director of District 3, Waverly. John Reynolds is the director representing District 4, Buffalo. Chris Lanto is director of District 5, South Haven. Kenneth Hebel is the director representing District 7, Plymouth. Mark Skinner is director of District 8, Maple Grove.
I now call upon Holding Chair Tim Young.
Thanks, Eric. Good evening and welcome, everybody. So did you get your pork chop? How about a milkshake? Did you play bingo tonight? As you know, for the last 3 years, we've been unable to have a full-fledged annual meeting. We're thankful that you're here, and whether this is your first annual meeting or the 20th or 30th time you've been here, we're just happy that you're here to see the full measure of co-op hospitality. Now, Chairman Hines just outlined some of the principles that guide a co-op, and we've said it already a number of times, but Wright-Hennepin is surely a co-op. It's your co-op, it's my co-op. Wright-Hennepin is our co-op. But what's a co-op? Well, to me, a co-op is a place where people get together to solve problems and make things better. And it's in that spirit I'd like to tell you a story. A couple of years ago, I got a flyer from the Veterans Administration advertising volunteer programs. And I was interested, and I sent them an email saying that I wanted to join up. And they sent me an email. They said, well, because of that COVID thing, all the programs were shut down. But, if they reopened them, they'd get in touch. But don't call us, we'll call you. About 6 months ago, I got an email from the VA inviting me to be a volunteer. I asked for the application. They sent it out. It was 50 pages. So I filled that out, and because it was such a big file of stuff, I dropped it off up in St. Cloud. A few days later, I got another email. They said I'd need a parking pass, and I should fill out this form that identified the color of my car and what kind it was, and the license plate and so forth. And I think I had already given them my driver's license information in the application. A few days later, I got another email. They said they wanted my fingerprints. So I made the 1-hour trip up to St. Cloud, and they took my fingerprints. A few days later, I got another email. They said, you filled out the application wrong. So you need to fill out those pages again and send those in. A few days later, I got another email. They said I needed a badge. So I made the 1-hour round trip up to St. Cloud. They took my picture, and they gave me this badge. And then they said you have to take the badge over to another office. Oh, they also took my fingerprints again, just to make sure it was the same guy. But they said I'd take the badge to another office and get a program so it unlocked the door where I was going to help out. So I went over there, and they said, well, there's 3 people that can help you with that. 2 of them are in a meeting and won't be back for at least an hour, and the 3rd one's not here today, so please come back another time. A few days later, I got another email. They said I needed a TB test. So I made the 1-hour round trip up to St. Cloud, and I thought, well, TB test, that's nothing. That's a little poke in the arm, right? 4 vials of blood. A few days later, I got another email, and they said I had to prove that I had a flu shot. And if I had gotten my flu shot at the VA clinic, I needed to give them permission to inspect my medical records. Those are the records that they keep in their office about me. So, after being fingerprinted twice and finding out about my car and taking my blood, they didn't want to invade my privacy. I never worked so hard to work for free. But there was one thing that they made me do that was worthwhile. I listened to a presentation on veterans' suicide. Now, suicide's a terrible thing. It's especially tragic when it involves young people. But among adults, veterans are 60% more likely to die from suicide than anyone else. And for veterans under age 45, suicide is the 2nd leading cause of death. I'm told that every day 17 veterans lose their battle with darkness. But why am I telling you this? Well, it's because we're a co-op. Because co-ops are places where people get together to solve problems and make things better. Because we can all help. If you know somebody who's hurting, please talk to them. It doesn't matter what you talk about, doesn't matter if you're a veteran, doesn't matter if they're a veteran, just talk. If somebody's in pain, show them that there's somebody out there that cares. In your yellow bag, there's a card like this. Hold it up. It's up there on the screen. It's got the phone number for a veterans crisis line. And I'm hoping that you'll put that in your wallet or purse and you'll keep it there with your ID and your credit card. This is a co-op. It's your co-op, it's my co-op. Wright-Hennepin is our co-op. We are co-op people. We get together to solve problems and to make things better. Start a conversation, save a life. May I now introduce to you the Chief Operating Officer of Wright-Hennepin Holding Company, Wendy Youngren.
Thank you, Chairman Young. Good evening and welcome once again to your annual meeting. As members of Wright-Hennepin Cooperative Electric Association, you know how important safe, reliable, and affordable energy is to your life. But how does the theme of reliability you can depend on apply to the for-profit businesses of WH Holding? First, let's talk about allocations and profits. The purpose of WH Holding is to offer innovative and competitive products and services that deliver complementary benefits and generate profits to offset the price of electricity for Wright-Hennepin members. Let's address these goals. First, we offer complementary benefits. We call this the cost-absorbing value of WH Holding. Because we already have resources in place to deliver electricity, we can use those same resources for WH Holding businesses. For example, our financial services, information technology, marketing, and human resource departments are already in place to help provide electric service. In case of WH Holding, each of the holding businesses is charged by Wright-Hennepin for its share of the provision of these services. In turn, this means Wright-Hennepin can charge you, the member, less because some service costs are already absorbed. The value of this cost elimination is significant. In fact, it equates to nearly $1.4 million annually and contributes to Wright-Hennepin's competitive advantage over Xcel Energy. Next, let's talk about generating profits. In addition to absorbing costs, WH Holding brings additional value in the form of profits. These profits can be used to expand businesses and to serve as a hedge against future costs. For example, if we acquire new accounts for WH Security, we can use profits to offset costs and thus perhaps avoid taking out a loan and paying interest charges. Those interest charges would normally become part of the cost structure borne by you, Wright-Hennepin members. Instead, WH Holding in place, these costs are avoided and your electric rate remains low and competitive. Let's move on to the services we provide and how they deliver reliability you can depend on. WH Holding businesses provide tree trimming, appliance repair, alarm systems, and alarm monitoring. But what do these have to do with energy? Let's take an alarm system. Through your alarm system, you can also control lighting, thermostats, blinds, garage doors. This is all made possible through an app on your smartphone. In fact, there are thousands of smart home devices that can be integrated into your home alarm system. They can detect water, a high or low temperature, or even a fault in your appliance. Think about this. It's not unlikely that in the near future, your smart home app will be able to report a problem to Wright-Hennepin and a repair truck will be rolled all before you even know there's a problem. Imagine being able to save energy because on a hot day, your blinds close automatically to keep the cool air in and the hot sun out. This same technology will allow your air conditioner to take a break. Think about not having to worry whether your washing machine will work or whether your kids will have fresh uniforms for the big ball game tonight. All because WH Appliance Repair has provided you with repair services. In the near future, technology will also be able to predict weather and other conditions that impact your energy usage. That same technology will facilitate the delivery of a proactive solution, often before there is even a known problem. Best yet, WH Holding businesses are perfectly positioned to work with Wright-Hennepin to provide this empowering technology. Now, I want to share with you a short video by Alarm.com, that is one of WH Security's partners, about what a smart home looks like. As you view this video, please know that WH Security provides all the technology, support, and monitoring you will see in the video. Along with an interactive app, you have all the control you need right in the palm of your hand. That provides reliability and protection. Couple that with alarm monitoring, with appliance repair services from WH Appliance Repair, and you now have a fully protected smart home. Pretty cool stuff, isn't it? Finally, can I have a show of hands for those of you already using a smart home device? That could be a security, locks, lights, even those speakers you ask what time the game starts tonight, like Alexa or Google. As you can see, we are well on our way to making reliability you can depend on into a smart home reality. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight.
I'd now like to turn the podium over to Wright-Hennepin's President and CEO, Tim Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, employees, staff, and directors, and especially members of Wright-Hennepin. Welcome to your annual meeting, as you've heard, built around the theme of reliability you can depend on. Now, why this theme? Think about it. How important is reliable electricity to you? How central is it to your whole quality of life? From cooking and lighting and cleaning to phone charging to space and water heating. Now, for most of us, modern life quickly becomes unfamiliar, even unimaginable, without the essential service electricity, and for good reason. Without electric service, 21st century life in America looks a lot closer to the 19th century. In fact, according to the Ohio State University, the electric light is the second most important human invention in the last 1,000 years, second only to the printing press. So we know you share our pride in being part of a cooperative that delivers the second most important innovation in the last millennium to you every single day. Now, more importantly, Wright-Hennepin is proud to be your provider of safe, affordable, and reliable power. And while many of us, understandably, take reliable power for granted, its sure delivery is anything but simple and automatic. And for lots of reasons, that delivery of reliable power is getting more challenging and more complicated all the time. I'll come back to that later. But for now, let's just take a look at the ways Wright-Hennepin ensures reliability you can depend on. Of course, the first way we do that is by delivering 24/7, 365 service. And consider that in 2022, our members were without power just under a half an hour on average, 29 minutes. And when members did experience an outage, they were without power on average less than 68 minutes, just a little over an hour. And when compared to more than 800 electric cooperative utilities across the country, these results put Wright-Hennepin firmly in the top 10% for reliability. Part of the reason is in the last 5 years alone, Wright-Hennepin has added 5,200 new services. We've installed 222 miles of line. We've added more than $27 million to our net utility plant. And on top of this, we've built or rebuilt 5 substations, and we are spending $17.5 million in 2022 alone. And given the rapidly expanding demand for electricity, particularly for electric vehicles, we anticipate the need to spend more than $250 million, billion with a B, over the next decade to modernize our grid. Now, simply put, the electrification of the transportation sector is the single biggest load-building opportunity since air conditioning. In fact, the installation of an EV at the average residential home increases energy use by about 30%, just one vehicle. Now imagine an entire subdivision, each with an electric vehicle. Now imagine multiple subdivisions, and eventually most and then all of the Wright-Hennepin system. So to accommodate that growth, we must often install more and larger transformers, more and larger feeder lines, more and expanded substations. And as a local distribution system with an obligation to serve, our challenge is to plan for, finance, and build all of it before you need a single electron. Now, we also deliver extremely competitive pricing and regular capital credit refunds. So consider that in 2022, the typical monthly residential bill for a Wright-Hennepin member was almost 13% less than Xcel. And when you consider the impact of our energy savings programs, the Wright-Hennepin Advantage swells to over 16%. And when you add in 2022 capital credits, the difference between Wright-Hennepin and Xcel goes to almost 20%. Now, that is the single biggest competitive advantage we've ever enjoyed over Xcel, and we hope you agree that it's a notable achievement. Thank you. I appreciate it. Some brave soul wanted to start. We are proud of it. Now, beyond this, we're returning millions of dollars to our membership in capital credit refunds. And as you heard from Brian, we did it twice in 2022, once in April, the second time in December. And taken together, those refunds added to a median of $94 per member. And given our strong 2022 financial results, we're giving back another $4 million this month as part of a special capital credit retirement. Thank you. Some of you may have already received those checks, and the median check is about $52. In addition to all of that, Wright-Hennepin has now speeding up its refunds to members. So in just 7 years, Wright-Hennepin has reduced the period we borrow money from you, our members, from 27 years down to 20. And bear in mind, too, that member benefits extend far beyond competitive general service rates and refunds. We offer energy savings programs on everything from electric, water, and space heating to dual fuel to air conditioning, sometimes with rates up to half off regularly priced electricity. And yes, some of those legacy programs have been repriced, but they still all deliver discounts to you. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the development of renewables on the grid or offset part of your bill with a fixed solar rate. And almost 300 consumers now are taking part as participants in our renewable and solar choice programs. We also offer a robust $1,000 rebate to electric vehicle users who install a charging station with a controller already built into it. And that allows for immediate plug-in, but a delay of the charging to later when costs are low. And in fact, we are so committed to delivering best-in-class charging solutions that we made an equity investment in a company called Zeph Energy. And installing a Zeph Energy charger benefits the cooperative in a couple of ways. We don't have to install a second meter. And we also don't need to install a second demand control receiver for your home. In addition, we've now deployed almost 50,000 advanced meter infrastructure meters that allows us to read your energy use not just daily but hourly. It provides you with more information and allows us to better operate our grid. We've also are in the process of replacing and upgrading more than 16,000 demand management receivers. Those are those small little devices that are attached to your air conditioner or your water heater that allows us to control electric load, and that will offer these energy savings programs to continue for many years to come. Now, beyond that, we're making investments in the behind-the-scenes control technologies that run our grid. Now, as generation resources get more intermittent and electric demand spikes further, we need a much more flexible, resilient, and responsive grid. And eventually, that's a grid that allows two-way flow of electrons from and to the bulk power system. And the only way to make that happen is to invest and deploy next-generation state-of-the-art technology. Now, our membership has also come to see Wright-Hennepin as a partner in the community, and consider that in 2022, through the Wright-Hennepin Trust, what many of us know as Operation Roundup, we contributed nearly $230,000 to more than 50 charities, nonprofits, local community groups, and Operation Roundup is funded by you, our members, when you voluntarily round up your bill each month and give back to those in need. We also participated in 4 area parades. We are the proud sponsors of the Wright County Fair. We put on a special EV ride and drive event. We organized a fall festival, a community lunch, and we conducted a children's holiday coloring contest. Now, as I mentioned earlier, safe, reliable, affordable power is a 24/7, 360 job. And it's getting more challenging all the time. And you might ask why. Well, consider that just last spring, 2 prominent industry watchdog organizations issued warnings about the potential for summer blackouts in our region. Now, happily, those blackouts didn't occur, but we did see increased risk. And then again in December, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, called NERC, again issued a warning for rolling blackouts that might be possible this winter in the upper Midwest. Now, unfortunately, these increased reliability risks are not going away anytime soon, and unless they are handled carefully, the threat could well escalate. Now, as you can imagine, the causes of this situation run deep, and they extend far beyond the footprint of Wright-Hennepin. But to put it simply, key causes include limited transmission lines, limited firm energy generation, the impact of public policy decisions, and expanding electric use. 4 causes. I'll unpack each of those in turn. The reality is right now we currently have too few paths to move energy, particularly renewable energy, from where it's generated, wind and solar in North Dakota and South Dakota, to the load centers, places like the Twin Cities, where it's needed. Now, there's a major effort now underway to build out the transmission grid, but it takes a long time, usually 10 years or more. And in fact, it's been estimated that $70 billion is required in the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator that's called the MISO region alone, that covers 15 U.S. states, including Minnesota. And even if those projects are funded, they still must first be sited and built. Now, power supply has undergone nothing short of a revolution in the last 20 years. Energy production from renewables has gone from a fraction of 1% in the year 2000 to north of 30% today in the upper Midwest. Now, happily, during that time, electricity not only became rapidly cleaner, but it also stayed reliable and affordable. But maintaining reliability and affordability at ever-increasing renewables levels gets more challenging. And at core, that's because the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine. So to make the system work, utilities also need what's called firm generation. Think of firm generation as things which can be dispatched, gas peaking plants, nuclear facilities, anything that can generate electricity at any time, particularly on peaks. And with increasing numbers of firm generation units being retired, replacement sometimes prohibited by public policy, reliability inevitably comes under pressure. And that brings us to public policy. Now, earlier this year, state policymakers passed a new mandate in Minnesota for 100% carbon-free electricity by 2040. Again, we strongly support renewables, and we support the goal of a cleaner, greener grid. That said, we must also ask ourselves, do we have the capability and the technology right now required to deliver 100% carbon-free energy? And if we don't, how might we adjust the goals and the timeline and the strategy to ensure not only that energy is more clean, but that it remains safe, reliable, and affordable? Bear in mind, too, that the reliability headwinds are coming at a time when demand for electricity is rapidly scaling up. And as I mentioned earlier, the single biggest driver for this is the electrification of the transportation sector. Now, several states have already set dates after which the production and sale of internal combustion engines will be prohibited. In addition, most major auto manufacturers have announced plans to stop producing internal combustion engines, typically in the 2035 to 2040 time period. In turn, what that means for utilities like Wright-Hennepin is we must rapidly scale up our grid. So while policymakers are on the one hand pumping the brakes on ways to generate electricity, they're simultaneously pushing the accelerator on electric demand. So combined, those are not small challenges. Now, we are absolutely committed to doing our part to speed the realization of a cleaner grid. But again, we need to do that on a timeline we can meet with technology that works and with an eye also to ensuring affordability and reliability. Now, in the 2022 Hulu series, Only Murders in the Building, maybe you have watched it, a character played by Steve Martin sums up the value of electricity this way. He says, quote, "There's a thin line between civilization and chaos, and that line is called electricity. Well, keeping your modern life firmly planted in civilization is our daily task at Wright-Hennepin, and to accomplish that, we must face and address ongoing challenges. We must integrate an ever-increasing number of renewables into our grid while simultaneously ensuring affordability and round-the-clock reliability. We face the risk of deploying technology that, given the incredible speed of change, can quickly become outdated or even obsolete. And we face the challenge of being both responsive to individual consumer concerns while keeping costs down for everyone. But the good news is that it's the very flexibility of the cooperative model. That's a model that puts you at the thriving, beating heart of everything that has allowed us to meet and overcome similar challenges in the past. And it's the cooperative advantage that we believe is central to meeting those challenges in the future. Because in a cooperative, we're all in it together. At an investor-owned utility, shareholders and ratepayers are on opposite sides of the transaction. In contrast, your board of directors is elected by you to represent you on the board. And we provide electricity not at a profit, but at the cost of service, and with any remaining margins then being sent back to you. We're also a local organization built by and operated for those we serve, and at a time when so many of our consumer experiences come down to dealing with a robot. Isn't it nice that you can, at Wright-Hennepin, experience one-on-one service to people we consider our friends and neighbors? So we hope you share our pride in Wright-Hennepin's strong record of reliability. And whatever the challenges ahead, we look forward to continuing the essential, life-changing value of electricity to you and your family for many years to come. So as always, thank you for your business, thank you for your support, thank you for spending a part of your valuable evening with us. On behalf of all of us at Wright-Hennepin, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. I'd now like to show a short Operation Roundup board video of local programs it supports.
Founded in 1994, members of Wright-Hennepin have donated more than $4.8 million to local charities through the Operation Roundup program, including almost $230,000 in 2022. Operation Roundup receives funding when members agree to round up their electric bills to the next dollar. This tax-deductible amount is put into a fund used to support charitable organizations and worthy causes within the service territory. Operation Roundup is overseen by a board of 9 volunteers and 1 paid administrator.
Good evening. I'm Ron Zachman. I'm chairman of the Wright-Hennepin Trust, more commonly known as Operation Roundup. I've been a member of Wright-Hennepin Electric since 1973, and for the last 8 years I've been on the board of Operation Roundup. Operation Roundup is a well-kept secret as far as I'm concerned. Your 5 cents doesn't sound like much to you, but to the community, it's thousands of dollars.
My name is Steve Pekarski, and I'm the Senior Director of Operations here at True Friends. True Friends is a nonprofit organization that provides life-changing experiences to children and adults with disabilities. The life-changing experiences helps build self-esteem, and it just enhances individuals' lives and opportunities that they have. We received our first Operation Roundup grant in 1972 right here at Camp Courage, and since that time we've received $85,000 in Operation Roundup grants. These grants have been truly spectacular for the organization and has helped us fund air conditioning, heating systems. It's also allowed us to provide for new construction and new buildings, upgrading our roofing and siding and windows. It's also here at Camp Courage helped us build a rookery observation deck. The rookery is a bird nesting sanctuary. The observation deck has provided an opportunity for everyone that visits our camp here in Maple Lake to watch the birds and view nature. It's wheelchair accessible and provides that opportunity for anybody to participate. These grants have been instrumental in helping us achieve our mission of providing those life-changing experiences. And without it, we wouldn't be able to do what we do on a daily basis. So thank you from all of us at True Friends.
I'm Jeff Johnson. I'm Executive Director here at Can Do Canines. And we raise and train assistance dogs for people with disabilities. And these partnerships that we create in each instance between an amazing dog and an amazing person just transforms their lives. And this year was the largest gift ever at $10,000. So it's a big deal for an organization our size. Every penny of that goes directly into raising and training dogs that make people's lives better. I just want to say thank you on behalf of us at Can Do Canines, but especially on behalf of our clients, to all the members of Wright-Hennepin for rounding up, because it might not seem like a lot to an individual who's doing it, but the effect of it is to transform people's lives. I had a client tell me that it took this extraordinary dog to give me an ordinary life, and that's something I never thought was possible for me. So that's what your members are doing.
Thank you for being a part of Operation Roundup.
I now call upon tonight's election judge to read the official results of the 2023 election.
Thank you. We, the undecided, duly appointed election judges for the 2023 annual meeting by the members of the Wright-Hennepin Cooperative Electric Association, held this 20th day, April 2023, do hereby certify that the election was fairly and impartially conducted, that we supervise the votes of the members cast at the meeting by ballot, that based on the submittals and certification by survey and ballot systems, as election service providers and the supervision of the ballots submitted in connection with the annual meeting, that we are familiar with the election ballots submitted by the members in all forms and the tabulation of the votes cast. And based on our professional knowledge and information submitted by survey and ballots, the following members received the number of votes opposite of their names. District 2, Dwayne Butch Linenfelser, incumbent of Montecillo, 228 votes. Karen Kesper of Otsego, 131 votes. Nicole Esposito of Otsego, 48 votes. Write-in, 0 votes. District 5, Chris Lanto, incumbent of South Haven, 664 votes. Matthew Simmons of Caucato, 263 votes. Write-in, 2 votes. District 7, Aubrey Britton of Plymouth, 122 votes. Bob Moborg of Plymouth, 77 votes. Larry Anderson of Plymouth, 43 votes. Thong Pham of Plymouth, 38 votes. Christopher Nelson of Plymouth, 37 votes. Terrence DeFario of Plymouth, 32 votes. Kyle Stotz, Plymouth, 21 votes. Dale Raymaker, Plymouth, 15 votes. Write-in, 1 vote. We further certify that the following were duly elected as director to hold office in accordance with the bylaws of the Cooperative and until their successors shall be duly appointed and qualified. District 2, Dwayne Butch Linenfelser, incumbent of Montecillo. District 5, Chris Lanto, incumbent South Haven. And District 7, Aubrey Britton of Plymouth. Thank you.
Before continuing, let me thank all the candidates who allowed their names to be placed on nomination for directorship. Please join me in a round of applause. At this time, please join me in recognizing Ken Hebel, former District 7 Director, for his 11 years of dedicated service to the Wright-Hennepin Board of Directors. And now, finally, is there any old business? Is there any old business? Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Is there any new business? Comments or questions or? State your name. We need a microphone.
All right.
Name?
This is a co-op.
No, state your name, please, so everybody knows.
Randall John Kleben. Give you a little background. Back in the 70s, I got a master's degree in environmental science. Now, that's no great shakes because we were wrong on everything we did. Everything. And the things now are no different. What they're talking to you about is just absolutely flat out wrong. We're talking today about reliability and the cost effectiveness. Now, it's not going to matter to me. 10 years from now, I'm not going to be around. But the fact is, it's going to cost you more for your electricity, and it's going to be unreliable because they're doing this green thing. It flat out doesn't work. It's not cost effective. It's not effective in terms of manufacturing electricity. You're going to have blackouts. And it's because the reliability of fossil fuel, i.e. coal, which is burned cleanly in the United States. We have a 400-year supply, and it's going to disappear. It's going to go to India, it's going to go to China, and they're going to burn it uncleanly. We didn't do that. It goes into the same atmosphere, so what difference does it make? I talked with the board of directors, and they've talked to the county and the state that mandates 25% of our electricity be green, and in fact, only green by 2040. Now that's just flat out not going to work. And it's going to cost every single one of us, and the only people that are going to be able to do anything about it is the co-op. The members have talked with Congress, or the state people, and they virtually got nothing. It's unfortunate, but it sits with you people. Elect people that at least can think past their nose and give you reliable and cost-effective energy. All right, I'm done. If my wife was here, she would have glued me to my seat.
Thank you. Is there any other new business? Any other new business? There being no further business, I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I now call upon Key Accounts Executive Ryan O'Connor, who will conduct the prize drawing. We ask you please stay in the meeting area because you need be present to win. Thank you for attending.
I have a few items to go over before announcing the winner of the car. First off, the total number of meals served tonight was 2,030. Next, the winner of the iPad for the early bird voting drawing was Gavin Amundsen. Also at tonight's event, there was various drawings to enter at each booth. The winners of those drawings for the $100 gift cards will be announced and called by tomorrow afternoon. As you leave tonight, remember to have your butter coupon ready. This is located in your yellow tote and looks like this. The buses outside will shuttle you back to all the off-site parking areas. And finally, after the randomized electronic drawing, the winner of the car, and you must be present, so tell me if you're here, Jeff Canwisher. Are you here? Jeff Canwisher. Come on over. Thank you all for coming tonight, and please drive home safely.